Hello everyone! I'm just going to go ahead and pretend that I do podcasts for a living and know exactly what I'm doing. So sorry if it may appear otherwise, but seriously, thank you for joining me today. My name is Sophie Hancey, and I will be your host on this lovely food history podcast. My dish of choice is a Santa Fe turkey stew, which I will tell you more about and drop a recipe on it soon enough. But I am also going to bring up a little history of portion sizes in America, as well as some history on bone broth. I am also excited to interview my mom for a little bit on what she has to say about my dish of choice. Now, while doing some research on the Santa Fe turkey stew, I guess I found it very difficult to find much background on the dish at all, really. So that's why I decided to do a lot of my research on serving size and broth as the history part of the podcast's dish. The recipe that I use claims to make a serving size of about 10 to 12 people. Now that's a lot of people for just one meal. Most would probably have to freeze at least over half of it. But we are actually having a big crisis in America right now, and it simply has to do with people eating too much. We have bigger and bigger serving sizes every day, it seems. I don't know. I mean, even from when I was younger, I remember being given kids portions, like portion sizings, and even sometimes when I was little that was too much, so that just goes to show they've got you starting it early on. Thanks to cheaper, more processed foods, along with new agricultural policies, food became cheaper and easier to get a hold of than ever before. Since we are a society of individuals in apparent dire need of saving our money or getting a bigger bang for our buck, we are in the middle of a competition, it seems, for who can give you the most food for the least amount of money. Personally, when I have to take the time to make something, I tend to make it a lot smaller quantities. I generally just don't like leftovers. I don't like reheating it. It kind of ruins it for me, but with that being said, I'm definitely not saying that I'm not guilty of having my actual serving sizes too large, because I certainly am. I'm notoriously the only one who can finish an entire Beto's burrito in one sitting. Doesn't matter who I go with, or even really how hungry I am. The dangerous thing with this style of eating, though, is truly the overindulgence itself. In more ways than one, I'm sure. In 1970, the average American took in about 2,160 calories per day. Presently, we have a calorie intake about 20% higher than in the 70s, at about 2,673 calories per day. When just looking at the numbers like this, I guess it doesn't always help to do justice of the real problem. People might say something like, oh, the intake is just a few hundred calories higher than 60-ish years ago, it doesn't matter. That's no big deal. But I guess the thing that a lot of Americans do not understand, or at least it would seem they do not understand, is that those extra quantities can actually do to them personally. With an abundance of unhealthy fats, grains, and sugars that really can do no true good for our bodies, there is bound to be some negative repercussions. Our body can only store so much glucose as energy. The extras are stored in the liver and fat cells in a very unhealthy manner. This can only create inflammation and contribute to diseases like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and of course, obesity. We can definitely help ourselves by regulating our intake and lowering those portion sizes. Alright, here are a few tips to help you hopefully avoid any of these overindulging outcomes, along with keeping yourself healthier. Step away from processed food as much as possible. When eating out, take half of your meal home for later. Try to order proteins or double up on vegetables instead of carbohydrates such as pastas, rice, and potatoes, which, for me, I know is very hard. Those are some of my favorite foods, but they will help you in the long run and help me in the long run. When at home, use smaller plates for the main course and larger plates for the salad. And try to buy locally grown fresh produce that is actually in season. And I mean, it helps out your local economy and your local community even more. So even more reason just to do it other than yourself. Alright, another feature about this dish is that it requires broth. Thanks to our hunter and gatherer ancestors, we have been able to enjoy this lovely discovery for thousands of years now. Back then, it was important for nothing to go to waste, so they turned to boiling even the bones with vegetables, and eventually herbs and spices in water for long periods of time, like hours, all in order to create a nutrient-enhanced meal. Broth was eventually being used in dishes in places like Greece, Europe, Middle East, and all throughout Asia. South America seemed to love the stuff so much there that people would preach that good broth can resurrect the dead. A little silly, I know, but I mean, if anything, food would be the thing to bring me back from the dead, that's for sure. By the Victorian era, it was discovered that you could take the gelatin from bone broth, and after purifying it, you could make any number of gelatin desserts, which also sound pretty awful to me, but I am sure people couldn't get enough of it back then. When gas prices began to rise and people were off working for long periods of time, people started using dehydrated forms of broth like bouillon cubes. Unfortunately, though, in 1908, MSG was invented by a Japanese biochemist. This cheap chemical tricks us into thinking we are eating meat or bone broth when in fact is just an overly unhealthy and cheap chemical, as I said before. Do yourself a favor and try to take MSG out of your diet as much as you can. Maybe even add it to the list I made you earlier to help you out. Could do you good, just saying. Alright, moving on. I think it's about time for us to dive into the dish itself. I'd like to start with the recipe I follow in order to make the Santa Fe turkey stew. 2 16-ounce cans of pinto beans, 2 16-ounce cans of navy beans, 2 16-ounce cans of black beans, 2 16-ounce cans of kidney beans, 3 pounds of cooked turkey, cubed or shredded, 3 49.5-ounce cans of chicken broth, 2 to 3 6-ounce packages of frozen shoe peg corn, 2 28-ounce cans of diced tomatoes, 1 cut onion, diced, 4 to 5 stalks of celery, diced as well, 3 1-ounce packages of ranch salad dressing mix, 1 1/4-ounce packages of taco seasoning mix, salt and pepper to taste. Drain and rinse all beans, combine with remaining ingredients in a 6.5-quart slow cooker. Cover and cook on low setting for 8 to 10 hours or on high setting for 4 hours. Typically serves 10 to 12 people. Alright, at this point in time, I would like to bring my mom on and have her participate in a little chit-chat.
Chit-chat, that's a cute phrase.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, sweet girl. How are you?
Doing pretty good. This is Susan Hancey, to all those who probably do not or should not know her as their mother. It's not like we really have that much to talk about on the subject of stew, however, but...
Yes, it's true. How much can you actually say about stew?
Not too much.
We can say that it's a darn good stew and we really like it, but yeah.
Whereas she works for the Valley Channel here in Logan and basically interviews people for a living, I thought she'd be my best bet to help me out on this project.
Well, good. So am I interviewing you or are you interviewing me?
Well, if only it was that way, but here
You're
we are.
actually talking to me. All right.
I'll be asking you questions.
Okay. Santa Fe turkey stew.
Yes. So, I was a really, really picky eater when I was little.
When you were little?
Yes.
How long ago was that? Last week?
Probably. I was much more pickier of an eater. There we go. When I was little, I if it looked weird, if it had any sort of strange texturing, or color, whatever, I wouldn't try it. I wouldn't even try it. I wouldn't go near it.
True, without some kind of bribe.
Yes,
or threat.
Yes, yeah, probably a threat. It's more likely.
Well, that's what it is a mother's job, you know, to threaten their children.
Oh, okay.
Especially into eating.
So I have a very particular memory about the Santa Fe turkey stew itself. Do you remember which one?
I do. Is this the great meltdown story?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Yes, it's not a happy high point in your life, was it?
Yeah, I'm sure it is engraved in everyone's mind. It's certainly, I would throw a bunch of fits, but I remember this one very clearly.
This one particularly stands out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So in this memory, I probably was about 5 years old. I would be embarrassed to say I was much older, but since I remember
it was probably last week, shall we not?
Yeah, so I remember it being about that. So we'll call it 5.
Okay.
So at this point in time, I was obviously, as I said, very picky, and I would not try anything. I wouldn't even do it. I remember crying, I remember screaming and throwing big fits, and I remember telling you, like, it looks like dog barf, there's no way I'm going to eat it.
Oh, that's a very delicate turn of phrase that you're using to describe a delicious stew. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was little.
You were. Well, I think it's part of a parent's job, isn't it, to make your child or children try new things with you. It was just difficult because you never wanted to try anything new. So I think your diet consisted of what? Toast? milk,
toast and cereal and
Cereal.
things like that. And
Yeah.
maybe some ramen noodles or something. But yeah, thankfully it's definitely expanded.
Yes,
It
you
is
have
expanded over time.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
definitely more trying. But yeah, I remember the big consequence to that was that you would send me to bed without dinner or something else.
I don't believe I ever sent you to bed without dinner.
Well, I think you at least threatened me to do
probably
it.
threatened.
And then
I'm sure there were lots of threats.
Yes,
flying
yes.
around.
But I remember you threatening to do it, and I didn't like that. Because that means I didn't get to watch TV or anything like that.
And all you
I'm
had
sure.
to do was take a delicious sip of this stew.
And I remember just like
Carrying
the old trick, the old trick of soaking it up with like bread,
Yeah.
or using like chips or everything, just to anything to not eat just the stew, basically. Just
Tricky
eating bread.
child,
Yeah,
weren't you?
yeah. I had my strategies.
Yeah, nobody knew them, of course.
It wasn't
Right.
obvious. But yeah, I just think it's so funny to look back at how dramatic I was, or at least laugh when I see other kids acting the exact same way, knowing I used to do the exact same thing all the time. I was really naughty. But I mean, after a few more years of hating this dish and you not really making me eat it again, if I remember right.
Well, no, I figured if you tried it once and you hated it that badly, why would I
changed.
torture you any further?
That makes sense. I appreciate that. But
Sure.
I guess I decided to give it a go again a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, this had to have been when I was in my early years of high school, so
yeah, you'd grown up quite a bit.
Yeah, maybe about 10 years later, I eventually decided to give it a try, but
Yeah.
I mean, it paid off. I think it's like the tastiest thing ever. I just love it. I love dipping my tortilla chips into it, or
Right.
whatever. I normally don't like leftovers, really. But
No, you don't, but you will eat this, won't you?
It's always the same. It doesn't, usually I feel like reheating something kind of changes the dish. No, this is like the same. It's just
and usually
delicious.
if you follow the recipe that we have, there's usually, unless you have a humongous family, there's always a great big bowl that you can pop in the freezer. This is why it's perfect for students, actually. You can throw it all in the slow cooker before you leave for classes in the morning, and when you get back it's ready and smelling good, and you maybe get a bit of French bread, or like you say,
amazing.
the corn chips, when you put the sour cream and the cheese on the top, and you, instead of a spoon, you use the corn chips. It's good.
Yes,
it's
for
good.
Sure. I love it. That's exactly as you said. It's so easy to make.
And you've been making it too lately.
Yes. I have gotten to make it a few times with you over the years, and let's see what. Last year,
2 years ago when my mum died.
Yeah, 2 years
I had
ago,
to go home.
My nanny passed away, and my mom had to leave for like
2 or 3 months.
It was a while, all during fall, all during the middle of our semesters and everything. And luckily, the only lucky part about that was that I got to make this dish more. I got to serve it for my family. We were living with my parents at the time, so me, my sister, my husband, and my dad were all in the same house, and since they all worked a lot and really didn't seem to know how to do much else other than work, I was basically doing everything. I'll say it. I was doing all the cleaning. I was cooking every dinner for everyone, even though my husband does online schooling. Just gonna say that. He could have had time.
Yeah, this is now going into a petty fest.
Anyway,
back to the recipe.
These like slow cooker meals and stews are just like amazing. Like they really help out. They really do.
Yeah.
It made things so much easier.
Yeah. Before you leave for school, you get your ingredients together. You can even do it the night before.
Yeah. Get
your ingredients together, get the crock pot going, and throw everything in. And boy, when you get home several hours later, the smells.
Yeah.
And
it's almost like a surprise, really. It's like
it really
you walk
is.
home and you're like, oh, it's ready. It's
delicious. And you can actually smell it outside.
Yes.
Remember, you come into the garage and you can smell it, and you think, oh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, whoever's cooking today. And that was Sophie.
Yeah. Always me. So,
yeah. So tell us about the little accessories that we pop on the top. We
usually do like you said, sour cream and cheese.
Yeah,
these are always our personal add-ons.
Yeah.
They're not on the recipe that I submitted, but they are. I mean,
some little chopped up onions, the little spring onions, little green onions that you would put on salads, chopped up.
Onions.
This is well, depending on who you have to breathe on later.
Yes, but
cilantro, I think you could put on the top.
Yes.
There's all just different yummy ingredient. And really, one of the main things about this is it's so healthy. If you discount the sour cream.
Yeah, and
I mean, there's
other things.
There's turkey and there's corn, as I remember, tomato juices.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so many things. It's a really healthy, probably low calorie.
Yeah.
And if you were
if
to
you
get
pick a good broth, too,
right,
like if
good
you choose
broth.
the right broth, stay
low
away from
calorie
MSG and
or
stuff.
fat-free sour cream. I mean, really, you're looking at something that is really healthy and fairly easy to make for everybody.
Yes,
If I
for
can
sure.
do it, anybody can, right?
Oh, well, that's if I can do it. Anyone can. You've been
Well,
doing
I wasn't gonna
everything
say
forever.
that, but, you know.
Nah, it's all right. We all know. But yeah, anyway, I mean, it's just such a great thing. I can't wait to prepare this for my family in the future, like way in the future, but still, I can't
Not
can't
two
wait.
ways, so.
Yes, I know.
Mummy's getting old.
Oh,
we
man,
would like
here we go.
grandkids
Yep,
before
yep,
too
anyway.
long.
Back to the dish. Back to the dish. I mean, I can't wait to do this. My kids will do the same. I'll force them to try things because it's so important. And we all know that. It's just important.
It is important to develop your likes and dislikes. And of course, when you're 5 and 6, that's just when you're actually learning to like things or dislike them.
Yes, for sure.
So I'm glad that you tried it that one time later.
Yeah, gave it another chance.
Yeah.
Always give things another chance because, I mean, your taste buds change.
They do.
Every
Your palate
few
develops,
years, yeah.
and things that were appalling to you, and apparently dog bath, are now just at the height of delectability. So
of course,
there you go.
For sure. All right. Well, do you have anything else to say about this, Susie?
I don't. It's just a really good standby. You have all the ingredients around the house, and you can have a bit of frozen turkey or chicken in the freezer. Pull it out, thaw it, and you're ready to go.
Best dish for all college students. All right. Well, I shall let you go. Thank you for coming up here on campus.
You are welcome. It was quite a fun experience,
I know.
actually.
Very interesting in here. Yeah. All right.
Thanks, so.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom.